Stephen Warner on the Barton organ. And folks, big news tonight, if you want to catch some original scoring by Stephen Warner, 8 p.m. right here, Nosferatu. Welcome everyone to the Penny Stamps Distinguished Speaker Series and the Acadia 2016 conference. Today we present two extraordinary talents who, when put together, are proof of the Kuleshov effect that says 1 + 1 definitely equals more than 2. That would be architect Philip Beesley and fashion designer Iris van Herpen. Yeah. Aye. Today's program is made possible by a special partnership, the Acadia 2016 conference happening here with us and amongst us today. So a special welcome to all the conference attendees in our midst, and a word of explanation for all of those who have no idea what that is. Acadia is an acronym which stands for Association for Computer-Aided Design in Architecture, and this year's conference is titled Post-Human Frontiers. The conference brings together architects, designers, material scientists, engineers, programmers, and artists to explore current trends in computational design and the generation of mechanisms for interfacing with the physical realm. And I think we're going to learn something about that this evening. It's taken a number of people and organizations to bring this program here today. It has not been just a smooth, easy road, folks. So I want to give a hearty thanks to all of you, to Acadia, to the Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning for your partnership, and for additional support, many thanks to Autodesk and the Grand Rapids Art Museum and Michigan Radio 91.7 FM. Now, it just so happens that the Grand Rapids Art Museum has just this past weekend opened the exhibition Iris van Herpen Transforming Fashion. This exhibition features 45 original creations by our acclaimed guest, Iris, and this exhibition is on view through January the 15th at the Grand Rapids Art Museum, which is just down the road. So we have time and we have holidays to take this in. There is information which should be available in the lobby on your way out, on the information table or on the small table in the outer lobby. Or you can find it online at artmuseumgr.org. Not to be missed opportunity. And next week, for those of you with the design bit in the audience, we have another design moment, so don't miss it. Fred Gelly, design director from the recent Olympic Games in Brazil, will be joining us here next Thursday. The run of show today, a little bit different, and please do remember to turn off your cell phones. This is a two-part show with 3 players. All of them deserve long introductions, but with respect for time, I'm going to give you just enough background to get the ball rolling. And I'm going to do this in backwards order. There will not be a Q&A today. With an eye on giving you the best of all worlds, we're going to begin today with a keynote address by Philip Beesley, which will then segue into a conversation between Philip and Iris, which will be moderated by only the most quintessentially appropriate person to do so, Sarah Schlunning. Sarah Schlunning is Curator of Decorative Arts and Design at the High Museum of Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. She curates exhibitions exploring creativity, innovation, and design strategies. Her shows range from contemporary fashion to design history, and it just so happens that she is the curator of the current exhibition in Grand Rapids, Iris van Herpen Transforming Fashion. Prior to the High Museum, she was curator at the Wolfsonian in Miami Beach, and she was also assistant curator at the Cranbrook Art Museum, just down the road in Bloomfield Hills, so not a stranger to us. And she has recent publications, most recently including exhibition catalogs for the Iris van Herpen exhibition and for Dream Cars. A little background on Iris. Iris van Herpen is a Dutch fashion designer who has gained international acclaim of her combination of traditional hand craftsmanship and innovative experimental techniques and materials, including the world's first examples of 3D printed fashion. She studied fashion design at Artes Institute of Arts Arnhem and interned at Alexander McQueen in London and Claudia Jongstra in Amsterdam. She immediately caught the eye with notable shows, and since 2011, she has been a guest member of the prestigious Parisienne Chambre Syndicale de la Haute Couture, which is part of the Fédération Française de la Couture, which is a super big deal. Super, super big deal, guest member. Her label stands for reciprocity between craftsmanship and innovation in technique and materials. She creates a modern view on haute couture that combines fine handwork and digital technology and forces fashion to the extreme contradiction between beauty and regeneration. It is her unique way to reevaluate reality and so to express and underline individuality. Each of her designs require a unique treatment of material and sometimes the creation of completely new materials. And for this reason, she prefers interdisciplinary research, and she often collaborates with other artists and scientists, like our illustrious guest giving us the keynote this evening, Philip Beesley. And for a proper introduction of Philip, I have asked my real partner in crime on this endeavor to tackle it. And because I would be remiss for you not to be introduced to the other force behind this evening. He is currently serving as the Acadia 2016 Conference Chair, in addition to his day job as the Associate Dean for Research and Creative Practice and an Associate Professor of Architecture at the Taubman College of Architecture and Urban Planning. Please welcome Jeffrey Toone.
Thank you very much, Christina. I would also like to welcome all of the conference attendees, members of the University of Michigan community and broader public. I am certain that this will be a truly special evening and a singular opportunity for us to host Philip Beesley and Venice van Herpen in conversation. It is a true pleasure to introduce Philip Beesley, a practicing visual artist, architect, and professor of architecture at the University of Waterloo, and professor of digital design, architecture, and urbanism at the European Graduate School. He is a director of the Living Architecture Systems Group and director of the Riverside Architectural Press. Beesley's work spans the disciplinary practices of architecture, science, engineering, visual art, industrial design, digital prototyping, mechatronics, and instrument design, and has been undertaken through long-standing collaborative exchanges with some of the most challenging thinkers and makers of our time, including couture designer Venice van Herpen and futurist Rachel Armstrong. The work has been extensively published and exhibited widely to worldwide acclaim. I've known Philip since I was a young architect working in Toronto, and have had the pleasure and opportunity to collaborate with him on a number of projects, through which I came to know his tenacious, optimistic, and sometimes ferocious but gentle spirit. He is well known to the Acadia community as both an active member and a most generous mentor and teacher. He has helped to advance the thinking and ambitions for what architecture may be for many of us in this room. His work never ceases to inspire and astonish with its complexity, its beauty, and its near-living qualities. Please join me in welcoming, for the first time at the University of Michigan, Philip Beesley.
Colleagues, thank you so much for having me here. Jeff, Kathy, Matthias, Sean, all the chairs of Acadia, thank you for your extraordinary work, and Christina and everyone at Penny Stamps and Grand Rapids. I'm going to offer you some comments that try to articulate what I think I can argue is a vision for architecture and design today. And this is founded on a sense of standing on the ground. If I was standing on the historical ground, on the ground of my parents perhaps, then I would have this most delicious sense, I think, of being able to rely on the world being solid, of being eternally there, of holding me, of nature wrapping up every bit of our energy and absorbing us and carrying us and challenging us. What a lovely kind of prospect for architecture and design to work with, being able to project against that firmament, that eternal foundation. And what of the ground that I stand on today? Trembling, unspeakably insecure. How can we speak of our future today when we think of a planet that has changed fundamentally, of nature for which we have fundamental questions about life and survival and viability? This sense might very well impel us to change our attitude about design, and perhaps it would be completely understandable if we were impelled to wrap the tightest possible circles around our work, seeking a kind of a no-trace camping, perhaps, or a radical sustainability in which the minimum possible consumption is possible. And yet, such retreat into encapsulation and into the enactment of boundaries is something that surely does not speak of life. My hope is that we might speak instead of a kind of projection in which what we do might create fertility, might create renewal, might create an extraordinary kind of transformation of pluripotency, of multivalent, many, many resonant, rippling lands around ourselves and our bodies. An architecture that creates true healthy possibility and fertility. I hope that I can earn that kind of optimism by sharing some craft. The conversation that I'm going to share tonight is based on a very special friend, my dear beloved Iris.